Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so sue me, there's still not an intro video, a new intro video. We're still rolling with the old one, and that's just the way it's going to be for now, because it's not a show. If it was a show, I would have to apologize for not having a proper intro video with the new branding, but it's not, so just deal with it. I've been on vacation, sort of. It's very... a vacation is a very strange thing in my life. I have a very love-hate relationship with family vacation, which we'll talk about all of that. But I've been busy, and I haven't had time to make a new video. A new video like that doesn't pay the bills, I guess is the better way to put it. Welcome. As you've hopefully figured out, it's not a show. The Weekly Pint is a happy hour. It's an excuse for us to hang out, to talk about all that is going on in our lives, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes stressful, sometimes not. We use this as an excuse to hang out together. And since sometimes we can't hang out together in person and have drinks together and express our sorrows and our frustrations, we do it here. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to talk about family vacation. But it is a happy hour, first and foremost, which means that we drink together. We all crack open something. You can make a cocktail. You can open up a bottle of wine. You can have fizzy water. Nobody judges you. That's the whole point of this. We just drink whatever we want to drink. And there is something that I want to drink that's kind of on topic. It's on theme. There was a bunch of stuff I was going to do, but we're going to just push that aside till next week. Josh is drinking a Sonder Rally Cap. That's important to note, too, that as you're jumping on the live stream, tell us what it is that you are drinking, and we'll all pretend like we're sitting around a table doing it together. Lee is having a Grainworks. It's peanut butter chocolate time. Last one. Good to see you back. Thank you, Lee. Yep, I'm going to crack one open here. It's a beer. I don't... When was the last time I actually had just a normal beer on this show? I don't know. This was a, we'll talk about how it factors into the conversation. This is an oldie, but a goodie. It is Great Lakes. If I can get it in the light over here, Great Lakes Dortmunder Gold. I heard a rumor that Great Lakes is possibly thinking about doing away with this beer, and that is crazy to me. Anyways, I have thoughts about this beer. And that factors into the conversation. But let's crack it open first and try it. Dortmunder. It is a lager in the early 1800s, when lagers started becoming clear and bright and golden. There was like a response around the world, especially in Europe, around Germany. There were some places that were making things like Pilsner, which we are all familiar with. There were other places that were making other things, and this was one of those other things. The Dortmunder region, Dortmund, is that the city? Dortmund? I don't know. They made their own version of a bright golden lager beer, and that was the Dortmunder. And it shouldn't be too shocking for anybody that is a lager drinker. It is golden. It looks really dark when I'm looking at it on the camera. See if I can get it in the beer light. Still looks dark. We're going to fix that here very soon. We'll get some better beer lighting. It's going to be like right here, so I can hold the beer right here and have some light going on it. It's a pretty beer. Yep, golden, big, giant, fluffy head on it. It's beautiful. Let's read what the can says. Dortmunder Gold Lager. It is balanced and smooth. That's what it says. It tells me that. It says, a classic award-winning balance of sweet malt and dry hop flavors, proudly waving the flag for Cleveland and refreshing beer drinkers everywhere since 1988. It is 5.8% ABV, 30 IBUs. It's a product of the USA. That's important to note because it is a Dortmunder style lager. I don't know if you can see that. That's important. It's not from Germany. It's not really a Dortmunder. Dortmunder style. All right. Let's see. Marco's having a headhunter. All right. Cheers, everybody. Or Prost. Oh, big floral hop notes. Yeah, it's malt. It's what I get out of the real aroma of this beer is the malt behind it. There's definitely hops there, but they're like those earthy floral hops that you get from a lot of German lagers. Yeah, it's the malt that shines. Let's get in this. That is a great beer. There's definitely some hop character that kind of cuts through it a little bit, but it's all about the water and the malt on this. Similar to what you would get from a lot of Helles lagers, but yeah, if you told me this was the Helles, I would believe you. It's minerally. Like there's a real cool thing with the water going on. Man, it's a great beer. It's a classic. It's a beer that I think a lot of us had when we were quote unquote younger craft beer drinkers that maybe we pass over way more than we should. I know that that's true for me. I've seen it on the shelf hundreds of times and walked past it to get to something else that is newer and more exciting. But man, it's a great beer. If you have thoughts about this beer, maybe you have had one recently, or maybe whatever you're drinking is similar to this and you want to talk about it, you can jump in the chat and do that, or you can call in 567-70-DRINK. That's the number for the drunk line. You can call into the show and take part that way. Unless, of course, you're listening to the podcast after the fact. You can still call in and leave a message, and maybe we'll play it next week. But you can't really take part in the conversation that way. You can pretend you are. I guess sometimes that might be as fun as anything else, just yelling at the phone while you're listening to the show after the fact. I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. We're all figuring this out together. That's man. It's just a good lager, just a good straight, no frills German lager. That's fantastic. I'm going to keep drinking that as the show goes on. How this factors into everything else is family vacation. So I took a trip this last week. And when I say family, we're talking about, what were there, 11 of us, 12 of us, something like that. It was a large group of people. So me, my wife, my kids, in-laws, mother, father-in-law, cousins. There were all kinds of people on this trip, which is fine. But if anybody knows me, you know that when I want to relax, all I want to do is sit in one place and drink beer. And when you're on a big family vacation, sometimes that gets a little complicated. So there are a lot of times where I would have much rather been sitting bellied up to a bar having a local beer that maybe I was having something else or baking in the sun. It was chaotic. My wife happened to also get sick the day we left for vacation. So the entire time we were gone, and still she's upstairs hacking away, she's been sick. She couldn't do half of the things that we were doing, and if she was able to do it, she was not having fun. So the vacation was just, I should have predicted it, but it was a little bit of chaos thrown into everything. One thing, and I promise, I don't know when it's going to be done, but I will have a video about this vacation that kind of recaps, hopefully, most of the good things, recaps all of it, and you guys can kind of take part that way. But the biggest thing that struck out stuck out to me about the trip, which there's always things about the beer scenes in different cities. And this time we were up north, up in Sandusky. The biggest thing that stuck out was just the lack of local beer. There's local breweries, and I'll talk about a couple of them in just a minute. But when you walk into any bar or gas station or grocery store, there were maybe a couple. You could get this beer, Dortmunder, everywhere. It was on tap at almost every bar that I walked into. Every place I walked into, every restaurant had this. And Rheingeist Truth was everywhere. Beyond that, it was sparse trying to find a good local beer. They were around, and I did kind of find a few of them throughout, but I was just kind of, and I don't know why, but I was shocked. Like, I get so used to like what Cincinnati is like, where you can walk into anywhere and find local beer, and we kind of take that for granted. And I wanted to drink local as much as I could, and I mean, I guess Cleveland is local to Sandusky, kind of, but that was pretty much what I drank everywhere we went, was Dortmunder, because that's what there was. When we went to Cedar Point, obviously Sandusky, that was one of the stops we were making up there with the kids. Should say, I was making with the kids while my wife was at home moaning and in pain and sadness that she couldn't go. I did get, there was, I believe Market Garden did a collaboration with Cedar Point, kind of in the same way we've seen stuff with Sonder and things like that here at Kings Island. They made a shandy for Cedar Point called High Point, I believe. I could be wrong. I feel like that's the name of another beer, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was called. Whatever. And I drank a few of those because they were light and they were refreshing and delicious. It makes watching small children ride small, tiny rides way more enjoyable. If you had told me 20 years ago that I would be going to Cedar Point and not really riding anything, I would have told you were crazy. But that's kind of the way this went. Because we were with such a large group, I didn't get to ride anything I wanted to ride. Which, if anybody knows me, I love roller coasters, and didn't get to. I rode two roller coasters that I've already ridden like hundreds of times. It was weird. My kids were happy; they had fun. I guess that's the important part. But man, it was very strange. It was an experience that I've never had before. You think, and this is probably true to a lot of things with kids, as soon as you figure out, or you think you figure out where you're at with your kids, they just kind of let you know that you're wrong. They're going to do something completely different. So they were extremely happy riding like little kid rides, both of them. Even the one that loves roller coasters, she rode those two that I rode with her, and that was about it. I tried to talk her into one more, and she looked at it and she said, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that." I said, "Well, okay. Do you know how much this ticket cost?" And I didn't say that, obviously, but my God, if I knew that we were just going to go and ride a train and two roller coasters that have better equivalents here at home, we could have done this trip a little differently. As you'll see, one of the parts of the video that I do have done, or close to being done, it's sort of done, I guess I should say. We did a if anybody has been up to Sandusky, there is like a wildlife safari thing you can go through, which is really strange. You get in your car, my wife's car, not my car. Thank God. You get in your car, you pull up to the gate, you pay to get in. Then you pull up to another gate and you pay again, which is very strange. But you pay again, and they give you cups of food. And you drive through this Jurassic Park-looking chaos, and there's all these animals. And as soon as you get in, man, they just swarm your car, and you just stick your hand out the window with these cups of food, and they eat the food. And then you drive on to the next animals that also eat the food. And meanwhile, they're jumping on the side of your car with their hooves and their horns and mud and spit and all kinds of stuff, just beating the crap out of your car. It's actually, maybe I can. Is there an easy way to do this? Let me see if I can pull up a picture of what, if I can find the mouse here. There it is. It's over there. Oh, it's over there. Over here. Side of my wife's car. Hang on. See if I can pull this up for you. Oh, it's going to go over there. Nope. Nope, that's just that. Okay. Let's see. It was, man, it was something else. Oh, it's not going to like that. That's okay. Full-size photos are on a different hard drive. It's okay. Do that. And we'll do that. Let's see. It was it was an experience. Again, thank God I didn't have my car. There's some great pictures that that's a whole separate thing we could talk about while I'm looking. I'm hitting this point in my my life, I guess, where I don't understand what I'm supposed to share on social media and what I'm not. I see a lot of people that they go on a trip and then they throw all these pictures on their Facebook page, and it's fine. I'm not judging anybody that does that. I get in this weird mindset now where I feel like I'm not supposed to, like, force my kids to be on my social media channels, and they're not old enough to tell me really if they want to be or not. I'm curious to hear anybody's thoughts about that. How do you balance that? Let's see. Oh, Julia is home now, having New Ales post-mow lawn kolsch. Josh opened up Still Not As Bitter As Your Ex, also from New Ales. Both great beers. I'm not even seeing this picture. I know I took one of the side of my wife's car. It would be there, and I don't see it. Who knows where it is right now? That's the downside of having, 4 different cameras that were with me. Half of them have been imported and half of them have not. Let's see if I took it with my phone. Oh, you know what? I bet it was a video. All right, I can't pull that up. Never mind, I'm sorry. I think it was a video, which are definitely on a different hard drive. Sorry, all that build up for nothing. Anyways, the side of the car, it was covered in mud and animal spit, and it's disgusting. And that's that was the takeaway from this drive-through animal safari, is that there's no beer and there's animal spit everywhere. You'll see it hopefully in the next week or two when I get the video done. I did go to a couple breweries. I talked about it just a second ago. The first brewery that we went to was Twin Oast. By far the one that was recommended more than anything else. Everybody that I talked to, that I asked, where should I go when I'm up here, said Twin Oast is the one spot. I've obviously seen pictures of it. I'm sure everybody has seen pictures of it at this point. It, actually, I can probably, let's see if we can pull one up for you. You guys know what I'm talking about. Twin Oast is, they started out as a winery. not Twin Oast. There was a winery, and then a brewery opened next door. And then as the people that owned the winery, I guess, got a little bit older and they decided they didn't want to be in the business of running a winery anymore, they sold it. That's my story. I don't know if that's really what happened, but they sold the winery. Twin Oast bought the winery, changed the name of it, and then also expanded the brewery a little bit. That's my understanding of the story. The place is incredible. Let's see if I'm looking here. Hang on. I'm looking for some pictures. Man, there's a lot of pictures here. There we go. All right. Let's try this and this, which means I can do this. And working on it here. Hang on. There's that. Man. Oh my goodness. This is all right. We can go full screen maybe. Oh, wrong screen. One of these days I will prepare ahead of time for something. Okay. There's that. Okay. Every time I click off to go over there, it makes that go away. Okay. Hang with me for 2 seconds once this comes in. We'll do that. And then we'll come over here. I'm so ill-prepared for everything in life. Pull that off. Oh, jeez. Every time I click on something, it messes it up. One of these days, guys. I promise. Okay. This is Twin Oast if you are, I guess, unfamiliar with what Twin Oast looks like. This is the beer garden. So you can see. Oh, wait, here we go. My wife says she just texted a good photo that describes the safari pretty well. That's great. But the text to get it on the screen where everybody can see it is the complicated part. Let's see what she texted. I might be able to pull it up in a second. That's a pretty good picture. I can try to pull that up in here in a second. This is Twin Oast, kind of part of the beer garden, where you've got an outdoor stage, a bunch of green space, which is really, really pretty. This is the front of the brewery as you're walking up to the entrance. Here's an edited version of the front of the brewery. Oh, actually, here. This is a good example of what we do in Lightroom to make things look pretty. Here it is before. This is the pre-edit. This is the photo straight out of camera. And then here's what I will share with people. You know, before and after. If anybody thinks AI is the devil, that's how easy it makes things. Like you tap and things go away, basically. This is the patio. I don't know what an oast is, but I think it's those things, those big kind of round silo-looking things. They're oasts. I don't know. It's the Oast Bar. That's where we drank all of our beer because we sat kind of over in. I don't know, can you see the mouse on there? Over in this area here. What else? Another shot of the patio. I posted this one on Instagram the other night. There's that. This is the beer garden. The one downside, you can see the sign kind of in that bottom corner, like right over there. They are a smoke-free facility, so you can't sit in the beer garden and have a cigar, which is a bunch of crap. Let's see. Julia says, I poured beer at Twin Oast booth at Sonder and Friends Oktoberfest a few years back. while the Twin Oast guy took a break. I remember that because they ran out of beer before I got a chance to try it. Julia says an oast is a kiln used for drying hops. So I have so many questions about this place. So are those actually oasts? Is this like an old brewery? Was it a brewery a long time ago? I don't know. I have so many questions. I guess I need to do some research about Twin Oast before I write about them. Hopefully one of these days. This is that other side of the hill as you're looking down, like right here. All of this stuff when you're coming back the other way. That's like the landscaping. It's like this waterfall thing with all these plants and flowers and stuff. Just absolutely gorgeous. This is the animal safari. I'm not going to flip through too many of these because I don't know if my kids are in here. But those are capybaras, tortoise, monkeys. There's my boy. Yeah, it was an experience. it was wild. Let's see. I think that's the one I want. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up my wife's picture here, which will give you a pretty good. Okay, if I do that, in theory, I had this all set up at one point to where I knew how to share a screen properly on here. And now I don't anymore. Okay, if I do this, change that to maybe this. There we go. There we go. This is a good example of what happened at the drive-through safari. They just stick their whole heads right in the car and slobber all over everything and drop food all over your car. It's disgusting. it was disgusting to say the least. When we first got there, I was into it, and I thought, man, this is okay. This is pretty cool. And it took about 17 seconds before it got really stressful. You're trying not to hit animals. You're trying not to run them over with your car, which you're supposed to keep moving, I guess, or something, so you don't hold up traffic. It was something else. Julia said, I told you capybaras are real. I saw them. They are real. Well, I cannot confirm or deny that they're real. I saw something at a distance across a little enclosure. I mean, they could have been fake. I don't know. So that was probably one of my kids' highlights was this drive-through safari. Now this bison is staring at me. It's a bison, by the way, not a buffalo. There are no buffalo in the United States. My kids loved it. They also loved, which we decided to take a ferry over to Put-in Bay, which if anybody knows Put-in Bay, it's like the best way that I can describe it, and again, I'm probably taking things away from the video. Think of like Key West light. Think if you took Key West and shrunk it down immensely and then put it in Ohio. That's what Put-in Bay is. It's an island designed for middle-aged people to go get drunk. And we took all of our kids. We took a bunch of kids to Put-in Bay and gave them golf carts and said, let's go have fun. And I think they did. They loved the ferry getting over to the island a lot. And then they liked driving the golf cart around a lot. And pretty much everything else, I don't know that they cared about it one bit. They wanted to buy things in stores and play on the one playground that is on the island. That's about it. I, however, wanted to run to every single bar that existed. I have never been on, the island is called South Bass Island. The town is called Put-in Bay. I learned that. I wanted to go everywhere. I wanted to go to every single bar that was there. I've never been on the island before. I've been on, I think, one of the islands previously. It's been a very long time, and I don't remember it being nearly as awesome as this was. I wish that my wife had the passion for getting drunk in the same way that I do, because we could spend an entire weekend just on the island hitting every bar, trying everything. I went to a place called Margaritas, and they make a bunch of crappy margaritas, and it was awesome. I had a key lime coconut margarita that was terribly good. I had, we went to a place called Boathouse, I think is what it's called. It's like a company that owns like 3 different bars all attached to each other or something. Pirate bar. There's pirates everywhere, boats everywhere. It was really cool, and had great food. I ate there and had a mojito and a Miami Vice, which, if you don't know Miami Vice, Bait House. Bait House was a different one. We're not there yet. That was the other brewery. We're not to that story yet. Boathouse, the one on Put-in Bay, or in Put-in Bay. Sorry, my wife is on the chat if you're listening to this as a podcast afterwards. Miami Vice, if you aren't familiar, is where you take a pina colada and a strawberry daiquiri, and you put them in the same cup, but you swirl them together. And it's delicious, and it's perfect, and it's tropical, and I loved it. Had that. Like I said, I had a couple margaritas. Did we have anything else on the island? I don't think so, although I really wanted to. There was one brewery on the island. Didn't get. Oh yeah, we did. We'll get there. Didn't get to go to the brewery/distillery, which I was definitely curious about. But we didn't get to stop there because we were booking it to go to the winery. Heinemann's. Heinemann's is the winery on the island. At one time, there were 18 different wineries on this little tiny, 5 square mile island. After Prohibition, obviously, a lot of them got the crap beat out of them and went away. And Heinemann's bought all of the vineyards that they had. Every vineyard now on the island is owned by this one winery. It's been around since, 1700s or something. It's been around forever. And at one point in the early 1800s, no, they were early 1800s is when they opened, not 1700s. Early 1800s, and then 1820s or something, they were digging a well for water and found a cave. And in that cave is now the world's largest geode. The entire cave, we didn't understand what we were walking into. You go down these really steep stairs through this hole that they dug for the well into this pocket, and you're inside of the geode itself. It's just crystals all around you. It was the coolest thing. I've never seen a winery that has their own crystal cave before, but it was there, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And we drank some wine. They had an ice wine, which is something that I've always been interested in, that we don't see a lot of places make. It's where traditionally, when it gets cold outside and the grapes freeze on the vines, they take them then and crush them. Then when they're frozen, you get more concentrated sugar. I did ask. They don't do it traditionally. They pluck them and then freeze them and then press them. But either way, it takes 5 times the amount of grapes to make a bottle of wine as it does with a normal wine. The Crystal Cave. It was awesome. I had such a good time. I mean, maybe it was the 7 drinks I had beforehand, but man, I had such a fun time. It was also pirate weekend or something, so there was pirates everywhere. I wish I had got a video of it. All of the kids were on the golf carts just having a blast. Every time they would ride past somebody, they would yell hi to them and wave. My youngest, the boy, the crazy one, at one point we pulled up to the winery and we were passing, and there was people dressed like pirates. And instead of yelling hi, he yelled, "Ahoy, matey!" And it was completely normal, and everybody accepted it. And I appreciate that, and I enjoy it. It was an experience. So yeah, we did Heinemann's Winery, drank a bunch of mediocre wine. The wine's not that great, but you put yourself in that situation in the place, and you hear the story of this winery and how long they've been around, still family owned. I there's something about that just connects so deeply with me that you can't help but not have a blast. So, and you can get it around here. You can get it at Jungle Gems. You can get Heineman's wine if you want to try it for yourself. And I encourage you to do that because maybe then you can share in the joy with me. We did that. Going back to breweries, I mentioned Twin Oast. We did also the following day. I don't know, the days get mixed up. We were meeting a friend that lives up there for lunch, and they suggested we go to. She very kindly knows who I am and what I need, and suggested a brewery for lunch, a place called Bait House Brewery, which I'm still on the fence if they will make either the video or the blog post that I write about this trip, because we walked in and they didn't have any of their own beer. Which is crazy to me that you can be a brewery and just not have your own beer, especially if you've been open for any amount of time. If you just opened and, we all remember Brink running out of beer, their opening weekend running out of beer. We remember that. It happens. These guys have been open forever, and there was not a single beer on tap that was theirs. The waitress said, "Oh, yeah, it'll probably be back in a week or so." I'm like, okay, here we are. This is, in theory, peak season for them. You've got tons of people in town going to Cedar Point and stuff, and they just don't have any of their own beer. It was crazy. There wasn't even other local beer on tap. Again, Truth. You can get a Truth. I had a Hofbrau lager. It was strange. The food was fine, except... I guess we'll go ahead and dive into it. Maybe I'll put them in the article, maybe not. They forgot my kids' food. Not like messed it up. Not it was like slow coming out. They forgot to put it in. They put in, and we were a big group, and I'll give them that. There was I think 12 of us, something like that. So it was a big group. It was the middle of the day. It was not busy though, and they got every adult's food put in out on time, and it was all delicious. The only people they forgot was my kids. The two young kids didn't have their food. Their chicken fingers. How do you not just drop chicken fingers? So they got a little bit of a ding from me because of that. But the food was great. The food that I ate was great. My kids, by the time it came, they had filled up on pretzels and things like that and just weren't hungry anymore, so that was fine. They did discount the food the kids' food by 50%, which was very kind, with the automatic 20% gratuity and the automatic 3.5% credit card fee, and got somebody else's pretzel on my bill, and instead of fighting it, just went with it. It's silly. The whole thing's silly. I just don't understand how places can still just screw something that I think is pretty simple up. But whatever. It was 12 meals, I guess. It's hard to keep track of 2 chicken finger dishes. That's fine. It was fine. I also went to Clag, the second most recommended brewery when I asked people where I needed to go. It is downtown Sandusky. The guy that owns it, he started out opening this other, it's a tap room kind of restaurant thing. So 40-something beers on tap. I should have walked in there to see what they had on tap and see if they actually had some other local beer. But I didn't because I was in the brewery and I was having fun with that. He started with that, and then a few years after that, I think 3 years ago, something like that, opened the actual brewery. It is a brewery, and all of their food that they have is like Japanese food and sushi, which I've never been to a brewery that has sushi, and it was awesome. I didn't eat there, but everything looked great, and I wanted it, and I was stuffed because of lunch. So I was really disappointed that I wasn't hungry, because one of my favorite foods is sushi, and you couple it up with craft beer, and I'm all about it. So I left that experience just kind of desperate for somewhere in Cincinnati to have sushi at a brewery. Like that's what I need. That's what I need from all of you. Give me sushi in a brewery. I don't know why that's difficult. I don't know why we're not doing it, but I need that. The food was great. While I was there, I sent a couple messages to some friends that were familiar with the area, trying to figure out where else I needed to go before I Ubered back to the Airbnb of Chaos, and was clued in on a space that I didn't know existed. It was a little speakeasy called Volstead, the Volstead Act, if anybody doesn't know. It was just a little tiny, like, I don't know, 6-seat bar, 8-seat bar, something like that. You walk down one of the main streets there in Sandusky, and there's a building, and there's a little tiny neon sign over one of the doors that just says bar, and you go in, go through some curtains, and you're now in a fun little speakeasy. It was great. Josh says sushi and a sake brewery would be cool. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool, but sake would be the easy thing to do. Just make it a regular brewery with sushi. Like, it was cool. The beer was great. The space was fine. The food looked amazing. Yeah, it was neat. And I've never thought before about the lack of sushi in breweries in the city, and it's now like just right there, forefront of my mind. But yeah, the little speakeasy was great. Speakeasy was great. I like a good kind of pre-prohibition cocktail, and they definitely scratched that itch for me. When I walked in, I was the only one there, which was great. So I got to talk a little bit with the bartender about what the place was and kind of some other places around that I should have gone to that I didn't because family vacation. But then as I got like halfway through my cocktail, the place just all of a sudden filled up with people, and I was like, all right, so this is now turning into the chaos that I can experience going back to the house. So went back to the house, had another beer or two, and yeah, enjoyed that chaos. We went to a couple little local bars right down the street from our house. There were 3 bars. The weird thing was one of them closed at 9 p.m., one of them closed at 10 p.m., and one of them supposedly closed at 11 p.m. I never saw it actually close at 11 p.m. Every time I tried to go there, it was already closed, so I don't know the story there. But yeah, we closed the other 2 bars down and had a fun time there. I drank Dortmunder, I think, at both, although could have had some Rheingeist at both. It was very strange. I just it makes me really appreciate Cincinnati and what we've got going on. But yeah, you'll see all of this in an upcoming video. Hopefully, if I ever get a chance to sit down and work on it. We'll leave it at that. We'll wrap things up. We've been talking for 45 minutes already. Next week on the Weekly Pint, we will probably be covering some label approvals because I've got a little backlog going, a little file folder full of some fun labels to talk about, and we'll talk about everything that's happening in Cincinnati beer news and maybe some national beer news too, depending on how crazy we get. I also have bug bites all over my ankles from sitting in the yard and smoking cigars on vacation. It's a rough life I live. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. If you like this show, if you like any of the stuff I do, there's lots of ways you can help. Number one, it's just by sharing it with your friends, telling somebody that you think would like this show, about this show, or about any of the shows I do. Number two, you can go to thegnarlygnome.com/support, and you can support that way. We do have new merch coming. We'll say this summer sometime, whenever, again, I can get around to it. We've got new merch coming and some fun stuff. And the Gnomies, which is the people that support on thegnarlygnome.com, get first dibs at all of that. They get a little free swag bag of new merch, so you can support that way. If you are a local business, a local brewery, local restaurant, anything like that, we can work together too. You can go to gnomecreative.com or just email me or get a hold of me any way that you get a hold of me, and we can work together that way. I do content creation. I take pictures. I make videos. I run social media for places. So if you need help making things that are pretty, let me know. I can make pretty things. Ruben says, can't wait to see the video. I hope you can get back to Put-in-Bay. You'd like Frosties and Roundhouse, two places that I'm really disappointed I didn't get to go to. I was, this morning actually, I was sitting after I was answering some emails, I got lost in YouTube for a little bit and found a video of somebody that was at Put-in-Bay, and they were at Frosties eating the pizza. And it looked incredible, and I was disappointed that I didn't get a chance to eat the pizza at Frosty's. I want to go to Frosty's. I want to go to Mojito Bay. I want to go to that weird fire truck bar. I want to go to the brewery, the distillery, all that stuff. Like, there are so many places. Roundhouse was cool. Yeah, I need a weekend where I just hang out at Put-in-Bay and get a little lit. I think it'd be fun, and I think it'd be good content. So if my wife is listening, if she's still on the stream, I'm going to Put-in-Bay without you at some point, because you and the kids slow me down. You guys do too many playgrounds. I need drinking. I need heavy drinking, and I need heavy drinking and bad decisions. So thank you guys for hanging out. We will be back next week. If you don't know, if you're new to this, we do this every Monday-ish, around 9:30-ish. We hang out live, and we talk about whatever comes up. And we'll do it again next week. Thank you guys very much. I should have pulled the outro music up before I was ready. Now I am not ready. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. The video is coming, I promise. At some point, I will do it. Let's see, why is... Now the music is playing through my phone and not... Oh my God. One of these days, I'll figure out how to run a podcast. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you next week. Jeez. Put-in-Bay, the next Cincy Pod Squad escape. I was thinking that, like, Cleveland or Indianapolis or Lexington or Asheville or something like that made sense for us to all escape as the Pod Squad. Maybe Put-in-Bay is it. Maybe we go, 4 hours north and invade an island and show them what Cincinnati's all about. I don't know. It's just a thought. But no, drive-through safaris. It's not going to happen.